Okay, guys, Mr. Waltz here. This is dimensioning example number 4. It's a lot like number 3, except it has a round hole and a rectangular hole. Again, it's prismatic. It's just an extrude, so you can get away with just 2 views. Basically, again, the rule is if you can do all your dimensions in 2 views, then you only need 2 views. If you can do all your dimensions in 1 view, then you only need 1 view. Um, so we'll go into the old Fusion here. Make sure you're in your fundamentals of dimensioning project, and you've got an untitled there. Create sketch, click on the XY plane. I'm going to draw a rectangle first, start at the origin. Forgot the width already. Oh, it's 2 by 2. How easy. It's just a square, yo. So 2, tab, 2, enter. Ta-da. Let's do the circle first. You can see the circle, it's 0.5 in each direction from the top right corner, and it has a diameter of 0.5. That was nice of them. That's easy to remember. Circle, go up here somewhere in the top right, click, 0.5, enter. D for dimension. I'm going to go off the right side to the center, 0.5. Go from the top to the center, go over here, 0.5. Okay, that's done. Need a rectangle down here. You can see it's 0.75 high, 0.5 wide. So I'm just going to use my rectangle tool, go down here, start drawing. 0.5 is the width, tab, 0.75, enter. Now you can see it goes blue, and that's because we've given it a size, 0.5 by 0.75, but we haven't given it a location. So we need the location, and you can see it's 0.25 in each direction. These dimensions are a little messy around here because we basically it's a small drawing, so there's not a lot of room for dimensions. So it's 0.25 in each direction. So D for dimension, click on the bottom line here, click on the bottom line here. I'm going to go over to the side, 0.25. Oops, typo apparently. Double click it, 0.25. That's better. You can boo at home. Then we need to dimension it from the side. So I use the left side here, the left side here, and go down. And I'm going to make that 0.25 also. So now it is ready to extrude, dude. Going to hit the finish sketch, home view, extrude. Make sure you click in this area here so you get the right thing. The extrude depth is 1. Hit enter. Ta-da, there it is. All right, we're going to save it. Example 4. Boom. And then we'll make a new drawing. File menu, new drawing from design. Make sure you choose your WPHSA template. Hit OK. Wait for it. It'll give you your front view. You can see it looks pretty tiny. There's a lot of room. So we'll change the scale. Instead of 1 to 2, let's crank this up to 1 to 1. That's a little better. Click it. Projected view tool. Click on the front view and go up. And then we'll go diagonal over here. You could do a right view, but again, it's prismatic. You don't need it, so we will leave it out. You can just hit the green check mark. Then we need to make this view shaded, so we double click on it. Choose shaded over here. There is a shaded with hidden edges. Generally on isometrics, we don't show hidden edges. We're trying to show a pictorial view, so basically what would it look like in real life. So there it is. Now we've got these views to dimension. Let's do center lines first. The front view, we're going to do a center mark. So find your center mark tool up here on geometry, click the circle. And then in the top view, we've got to put a center line in. And so this is kind of interesting because if you look at the hidden lines, uh, I think you guys can tell, you can see, these 2 holes, there's 2 holes in here, but there's no way to tell which one is circular and which one is rectangular. They could both be rectangles or they could both be circles. So what we want to do is use the center line tool. We're going to go to the hidden lines for the right hole, this one here, this one here, and when you click on them, it puts the center lines. So that's an example of why we have to have center lines, because it helps you identify the shape of a hole even when you're looking at it from the side. Okay, now it's dimension time. Go look at our picture here. You can see we'll just do a 1-inch dimension for depth in the top. That's easy. D for dimension, click, go over here. That's good. Um, Back down here, you can see there's a lot of dimensions. We're going to do the small ones first. So we'll do the small features like the circle hole and the rectangular hole. We'll do those first, and then we'll do the overall 2-inch by 2-inch last. So this guy, if we come down here, it's the same dimensions we just did when we made the part. I'm going to click on this, the right side, and click on this center line, and it'll give me a 0.5. Boom. I'm going to click on the top and click on this center line, and it'll give me a 0.5. And then I'm going to click on the circle here and go up here, and it'll give me a 0.5. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now I don't like that one's not too bad, but I don't like this one. Look, we've got a dimension inside a part here. That's not legal. Okay, so we're gonna hit escape, click on the dimension, grab the little circle here. You could move it out. What I like to do is put it again. I like to be in between the arrowheads like that. Okay, now I'm gonna do that with this one. I'm gonna hit escape and click on this and go in here in the middle. That looks pretty good. So now I know everything about that hole. Now, one thing I don't know is that it's a through hole. So, and I should have done that on all these that had the round holes. So, if you ever want to do something like say that a hole is a through hole, what you can do is double click on the dimensions. You hit escape first, double click on it, and then you can basically type here. So, I can click and type after the 0.5. I can put capital THRU, which just means through, and then you can hit close and it'll add that in. So you could always do that. You don't have to. Later on, I'll show you. We're going to get really technical on how we make holes, and there's some automatic features we'll use to dimension them. But for now, just know you can do that. Cool. So that part is done. I need to do the dimensions down here on this rectangular hole. I'm going to move this over a little bit. I'm going to grab it here and drag it in just a little so that it is not hanging out past the edge of the box. Put it about right there. Okay, that's cool. All right, so now we're going to do the dimensions down here for this rectangle. D for dimension. I'm going to click the bottom of the rectangle and the bottom of the big box and slide over here. There's 0.25. I'm going to click the right side of, or excuse me, the left side of the big box, left side of the little rectangle, and then come down here. This is 0.25. Um, and then that's the location. So I know where one corner of the box is, or sorry, the little rectangle. Now I got to do the size of it, right? The cutout. So I need this here. This is going to be 0.75. This actually looks like it's going to work out pretty nice here. So we can actually do this. It looks like we can do this a little cleaner than the way it was done in the example. So I'm going to place this dimension out here. And then what I want to do is line this up, right? So this 0.25 is pretty good down here. I want to line the 0.75 up with it. So I'm going to hit escape, click on the 0.75, grab that circle. And then what you can do, usually you have to let it know. So I'm dragging the 0.75. I'm going to move my mouse down onto there to that arrowhead. And then when I come up here, it's going to let it snap in there and I can line those up. So that's a little tricky. Ask me in class if you're having trouble getting it to do that. The other thing I'm going to do is down here on the bottom, I want to have excuse me. I want to have a dimension down here. So I'm going to do this. I'll go ahead and hit D for dimension. I'm going to click on the bottom of this and come down. I want to have this 0.5 dimension down here. But you can see here, everything's getting in everybody else's way. So what I'm going to do is hit escape, click on the 0.5, drag that into the middle there. Boom. And then that's actually pretty good at that point. I don't think there's enough room to put this 0.25 in the middle here. That's not terrible. I think the way it was is fine. But you just want to arrange these. You don't want lines to cross lines. You don't want lines to cross numbers. And then anytime you can align these is good. Here, we're not going to align just because we ran out of room. There's not enough room to put the 0.25 in there. So that's pretty good. That's a pretty decent drawing. Anybody who understands drawings could look at that and figure out how to make this thing. So Only thing we need is the width and the height of the whole thing. So D for dimension, top edge, go up a little bit, right edge, go over to the right a bit. And that's looking pretty good. You can add decimal places if you want, but this is kind of nice to leave those off. It's not a big deal. There's a concept later we'll learn called tolerancing, where you actually technically determine how many decimal places you need. But for now, this is fine. So save this bad boy. I love it. It comes up with automatic names. These are pretty good. And then remember to export. Click export, open PDF, and hit OK. Save it to your downloads folder, and then add that file from your downloads folder to Google Classroom. And hopefully this is the last one for you on this assignment, and you can turn it in. Great job.